everybody, it's Stephanie with Hatching Time, and today we're going to clean my CT120. So I've already pulled my CT120 and the table it sits on away from the wall so I can access the back easier. As you can hear, my other CT120 is currently running. It's totally fine to let that run while we clean this. Now, I have not cleaned this in probably 4 hatches, so she's dirty, but I did that on purpose to show you guys how easy it's to clean when it's been a while. So I'm just going to show you the basic supplies I use when preparing to clean this. I like to use the Lysol hydrogen peroxide cleaner, your basic grocery store all-purpose wipes, a basic can of air duster, and then once we are all done, I use a Tektrol. This is a disinfectant spray for the entire unit. It's just going to kill the bacteria and deodorize it and get it ready for your next hatch. Also, I use one of these nice little thin cleaning brushes you see here. They're kind of firm bristled to get some of the stuck on stuff and in the hard places you can't reach. You can get these on Amazon. So as we all know, the chicks produce a lot of down. So the first thing I do is I take that little brush and I'm just going to sweep out one of the highlights I love about all of our Hatching Time incubators is this wonderful back door. And if you're in a location where you can use an air duster, I highly recommend that. But just keep in mind, if you're using an air duster, that you are going to have a lot of dust in the air, and you may consider using like an N95 mask or something along those lines. I always love to show when I'm doing these videos how light and easy these are here to pick up. Very light, so if you were to want to move it outside and blow it out, let's say a blower or an air duster or something, it would be fine. So this CT120 I was using strictly as a hatcher. That's why it is so dirty currently. It's got some good stuck on grime on the bottom. So I'm just going to take my hydrogen peroxide multi-purpose spray and I'm just going to spray it on some of this gunk and let it sit while I clean the rest of the incubator. So I'm just kind of getting a good thick layer of this on there so it can start loosening up that crud on the bottom. Now I'm going to take my wipes and I'm just going to start cleaning from the top down. Take my air duster and I'm just going to two things I do with it is spray your filter on the inside of your incubator out, and then I also spray some, as you see here, down the inside of this fan. I do recommend between every single hatch you're air dusting out your filter in your fan system. There is 4 really easy screws that I'm sure we're going to cover on another video to show you how to clean the heating element and fan part of your incubator. But between your hatches and during light cleanings, I just at least recommend that you're using an air duster to get all of the debris, dust, and all the chick dander out of those areas. The walls themselves tend to get dusty, so it's important to remember that you're cleaning everything out of here. And now we get to the bottom, which, as you've seen earlier, I had coated with some of that Lysol spray, that hydrogen peroxide based one. I like that because I feel like it really eats the grime. So I'm going to take just a basic paper towel and we're going to pull a lot of that out, and you'll see it actually has made very easy work of a lot of this. So I'm going to use it for these harder to reach areas, and then I'm just going to wipe it off with one of my wipes. So once you've used your little brush to really clean those tracks out at the bottom that are, you know, difficult to reach and what have you, you can just take some of your Clorox wipes You don't have to use Clorox wipes if you don't like the idea of that. Just some warm water on a paper towel or a rag would be fine to clean these units with. As you can see, that track is absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to do the same to the other side. Always want to remember to clean your front door and around your portholes, because this place gets dirty too. Once again, I'm going to take that little brush to clean all this tracking. Do this on your back door as well. Honestly, the material that these incubators are made out of is one of my favorite things about them. The fact that they're non-porous and light, but also the fact that they just, with a little bit of cleaning, they come, just wipe right off. I mean, it's not like it's one of those surfaces where things stick to it like glue. And when you're raising chickens, we all know when the chicks poop, especially if it's getting, you know, in your hatcher where you're raising them out of, that stuff can stick to things and be like cement. So it's really nice to have an incubator that's material is easy to clean and doesn't take up a lot of time to manage, because we all know it's the one thing we all don't have a lot of is time, right? So all right, you guys, now that we've got the inside of our 120 clean, I'm going to show you how I clean the humidity system and the tank that goes on the top. So now I am over here at my 3-bay sink, and I am just mixing a light dishwashing liquid solution and warm water here in the sink so that I can clean these items that go on top of the incubator. One of the other things that I might use if I notice that they need a little extra is some basic white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. So you'll see here I have all of our removable parts from the incubator off, and I'm going to set your Humasonic down in the warm water. Make sure you keep the electrical plug out of the water and dry. So we're only worried about that portion of it that goes into your distilled water. Once again, I'm going to be using our handy dandy little brush here. And then I also just use a basic kitchen brush. This one is the one I use this little brush on because it's kind of hard to get around. So proper reassembly of these units is important. So we're going to move our cleaning supplies out of the way here. As you can see, I'm not really hurting the other 120 that's running. So your Humasonic unit just slides back in on this side. Your water feeder tube goes into the back, onto the nozzle. You take your Humasonic unit, you make sure it's sitting down properly there. Your lid, which will keep your cord in place here. Most importantly, let's make sure we're reconnecting everything properly. So your Humasonic needs to be plugged into the top of your unit. And then you're just going to reconnect the two ends. So this was cleaning your CT120 and reassembling it. And there's one more thing that I do before I'm ready to use my incubator again. Earlier in the video, we talked about Tektrol. This is a disinfectant aerosol spray deodorizer. This has been long time used in the poultry industry for disinfecting incubators and other items. So what I usually do is come around and I'm going to open up the back of the incubator. And I'm going to do a light mist on all the parts of this incubator, just getting a light coating on it. And though that, while it says you don't have to, I will leave the incubator open to air dry for about 30 minutes before closing it back up, and then it's going to be ready for use. Thank you for joining me today as I cleaned my CT120 setter hatcher from Hatching Time, and hopefully in no time at all you guys will be hatching plenty of your own.